Hello, welcome back to Big Nerds Wargaming Hobby Hangout. My name is Sam, and today I am painting some 3D printed Inquisitorial agents. These are designs by the creator Station Forge, which you can find on myminifactory.com. I am using them, practicing them as Inquisitorial agents, the retinue for the Inquisitor themselves. So the Inquisitor I'm using is kind of a inspiration from Gregor Eisenhorn. So he's got kind of like a similar aesthetic and vibe. So this is my Inquisitor, and then this is his retinue. So I have 3 more henchmen left to paint, and then this whole team is finished. So that is what I'm painting tonight. So I'm going to start with this fella here. He's kind of got like a big weapon. I think he's going to proxy for a model with an eviscerator. And then we have this guy who also has an eviscerator. So these are going to have the same data sheet loadout. But this guy, I think we want to give him kind of like a military-esque look to him. And I picked up a new contrast paint. I want to give it a try. It's called Creed Camo. So we're going to give this a go and see how this looks. Hope everyone's having a wonderful evening. And if you're new to the channel and the stream, my name is Sam. I stream usually every week on Tuesday evenings, 7 p.m. Central Time. And then on the channel, we do battle reports, terrain crafting, hobby discussion, pretty much all things Wargaming and Warhammer 40k. So if that's your thing, subscribe and like and watch the videos. That helps too. Yeah, watching them. Alright, so we're gonna start. I'm liking the way this looks. It's kind of like a forest green right out of the pot. I'm not gonna thin it down with any medium, but I'm just gonna go ahead and apply it to his pants here. So this model was primed with black and then kind of a light gray zenithal. So we're kind of getting a slap chop effect, which is just fine, because I'm just trying to speed paint these guys. And I may go in with some layer paints and add some highlights here and there. But for the most part, I'm going to let the contrast paint do the work. And just kind of go ahead and apply that everywhere. So it's kind of got like some knee pads, some cloth around his boots. So I want to try to finish all 3 of these guys tonight. We'll see how that goes. Sometimes I get carried away. Try to bring out the detail. I just kind of get on a roll sometimes. So I'm working on an Imperial Agent's boarding patrol for the boarding actions game mode. I was very excited when that came out. Let's see here. He's kind of got, is that his? No, I think that's his shirt. We'll make his inner shirt also match his pants to that dark green color. And then that's his muscles. Kind of hard to see some of the detail. Just trying to make out what I am looking at here. I like that. We'll go with that for now. For his outer jacket, I think I'm gonna give that a lighter color. I'm gonna try maybe this plague bear flesh. It's kind of like a yellowy green color. Yeah, I think that'll work out nicely. So let's just go ahead and apply this everywhere on his outer coat here. That'll kind of go nicely with his green pants. If I feel like this needs a little bit more, I'll go in with a layer paint and maybe do some highlights here and there. But so far, I'm liking the way this is looking with just the zenithal over the black here. Getting a lot of variation in color and tone. Not giving my name. Howdy. Well, I might know your name. Continuing the agents from last time. Just doing some speed painting with some contrast paints. Just trying to get this this squad done. Then I have one more squad of exactors, which are also 3D printed using proxies from Station Forge. And then I'll have a full Inquisitorial Agents boarding patrol. Evening, Sam. More Inquisition stuff, eh? Yes. I am behind on my project. I've been working on a big terrain project for my next video, which is coming out, I want to say this Friday, but it might be sometime next week. It's taking a little bit longer than I anticipated, but it's a very big terrain project, and I'm really excited about it, and you'll just have to stay tuned for that. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, it is still in the works. My gaming table is a complete mess of crafting materials and whatnot. I'm putting decals on my Marines. Nice. Have you ever tried using that like micro set? I heard that's supposed to help decals go on really easily. I haven't used it yet, but I've heard good things about it. Yeah, so I'm liking the way this is turning out. I'm gonna do Gore Grunta fur for his kind of the fur around his neck attached to his coat. It's kind of like a nice lighter brown. Yeah, so we got the whole family in the background there. And these three colors actually go together really well. You can see here on the palette. I think these will blend together really nicely. This would be good for like a wood elf or like a forest vibe almost. Very earthy colors. Yeah, I'm liking the way that's looking. Okay. Let's do his skin next. Then we'll go from there. For the skin tone, I think I'm going to go with... I want something a little bit... maybe tan-ish. So maybe I'll start with Cadian as like the base tone. Yeah. Go from there. These are my formula for skin. I start with Cadian or Kislev, get that covered nicely, and then I do a wash of a shade down. So if I start with Kislev, I'll do a wash with Cadian. If I start with Cadian, I'll do a wash with Bugman's. And I'll mix in some Pallid Witch Flesh into the base skin tone color and add some highlights. And that usually works out pretty well. It hasn't steered me wrong. That's for lighter skin. But darker skin, that's kind of the same idea. Maybe like Doombull Brown or Rhinox Hide is like the base tone, and then you can mix in some Mornfang or Scrag Brown. So I did darker skin on the Astropath last week, and I think that turned out pretty good. Alright, so for this guy, we're going to do Cadian as the base coat. Just going to get a little bit on my palette and get her nice and thin. Just some water. This will take a few coats, I think. So he's got like a... looks like a metal skull. Yeah, he definitely has like a metal underpiece. So we'll have to paint that in. Probably like a steel color, I think. Probably just do the Ironbreaker. Nice medium silver. And then give it a wash with a Targor Raid Shade. It's my new favorite wash for metal. Alright, I've determined that this is the top of his shirt, so I'm gonna go back and paint that green. Now that I started painting in some color, it's kind of more obvious what that's supposed to be. Sometimes zenithal highlights help bring out the details and you can see what things are on the model. Other times, once you start throwing some color on, it becomes more clear. Yeah, so this is going to take probably 2 or 3 coats for the skin. Just the paint is nice and thin, but that is a-okay. So we can preserve the detail of the model. Especially a 3D printed model like this one. Depending on the printer and the resin, sometimes some of the fine details can be lost in the printing process. And so you don't want to glop the paint on. You want to preserve as much of the detail as possible. And then also some of these 3D models aren't as detailed as others. So they can kind of naturally look a little bland sometime after they come off the printer. But these ones from Station Forge I think are pretty good. I've been very impressed with them. Very happy with them. Very high quality minis for something you can make at home. Need some more Cadian on my palette. Let me just take a sip from my Big Nerds Wargaming mug, available at the merch store. Beverage not included. Alright, coming around for a second pass on the skin. So I think after these guys, I'm not sure what I'm going to paint next. Might go back to Space Marines. Might, maybe go back to Gene Stealer Cult, or possibly some Necrons. I have not fully decided. I just have several options to choose from. Both a good thing and a bad thing. Multiple armies. Gives you lots of variety, but then you end up acquiring a lot of things. And then sometimes you're not in the mood to paint what you have. You acquire something else. And before you know it, you have a whole pile of opportunity you don't know what to do with. Alright, we're gonna let that skin tone dry. I'm gonna come back in and paint that shirt with this green color. I think we determined that's his shirt, so we're gonna paint that. Okay. So for the boots, I'm thinking Basilicanum Gray, or perhaps just black. Simple black boots. Or we could go with a dark brown, and dark brown on the pouches. Yeah, I think... Well, I think we want a black belt for sure. What did I do in these other guys? I did black pouches. Okay. We're gonna go black belt, black pouches, black boots. To help tie them in with the rest of the unit. So, I'm just gonna use Black Templar for that. So, starting with the boots, Black Templar. This is a contrast paint. It's supposed to kind of give me some natural highlights, but because the base coat is so dark, none of that is coming through, so I'm going to have to maybe go back in there with a lighter gray and add some highlights in his boots. Perhaps Corvus Black. Alright, and then we're going to get black on the holster for his weapon. Looks like a las pistol. So do black gun body. Simple black belt with some black pouches. Seems like the agent way for the gear. I paint this sigil black as well. I'll go back over it with a metallic color. Just kind of getting that base coat blacked in. And then I'm also going to do these armbands, we're going to do those black as well. As well as the knife sheath. Just something real simple. All these henchmen have such like character in their models, but they're just simple one wound models, so they're gonna die really quickly. I'm also gonna do black on the bar of his weapon here. I'm gonna play it as an eviscerator, even though it's definitely not an eviscerator. I really need to try out the speed paint metallics from Army Painter. I'm really curious about how well those work. I've heard good things. Alright. So, I think I need to do another coat of the Cadian on his skin. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that with this brush I already have out. Still see some of that base coat of the primer. So I'll make sure I get a full coverage here. We don't see any of that gray underneath. Okay, so while that dries, we're gonna go in and get some metallics. So I'm just gonna grab Iron Breaker, nice medium silver metallic paint. Hey Sam, everybody suspects the Inquisition. Hey Travis, welcome. Hopefully I'm going to finish up this squad. We'll see. Let's see. I need a smaller brush here. Here we go. Army Painter standard size. It's a little bit better shape, so I'll use that. I've been pretty good about taking care of my brushes. I haven't had to buy a new one in a while. Alright, so Iron Breaker, we're going to do on the grenades. On the knife handle. Just something real simple. And then also on the muzzle of his las pistol. And we'll also do the handle Iron Breaker as well. Then the blade of his weapon. But not the other part on the end here. I'm going to do that with the brass color. My golden boys come in tomorrow. I'm going to try and get them all painted and set up during a 2-week break over the holidays. That sounds like an ambitious plan. Well, how many are there? Like, is it like 10 models? 13 models? For, Custodes? I thought I'd have these, agents boarding patrol finished, like 2 weeks into October. Boy, was I wrong. I got sidetracked, though. Sidetracked. But, hopefully gonna have these done. Yeah, I got sidetracked painting my Fortress of Redemption. Some other stuff. Quite frankly, I was procrastinating. We'll do his knee pads in silver as well. And of course, we can't forget his metal dome. Gonna paint 2 Calidus, and then need to paint 10 Wardens, 10 Guards, 6 Alaris, and 2 Blade Champions. I'm about to resume work on these Shroud Runners. My Eldar bikes are coming along. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I want to get some more Eldar bikes. They're just so fun to zip around the battlefield. Raining death and shurikens. Just coming in for a second pass of Ironbreaker on this weapon here. All right. And then, let's bring in the brass. I think I did brass scorpion. No, I did Runelord brass. It was Runelord brass. Or maybe it was Balthazar gold. I think it was Balthazar gold. No, it was Runelord brass. So what happens when you don't paint in a while. You forget what you did. Silly Eldar, yes. My last battle report, I fielded my Eldar against my cousin's 1,000 Sons. That was a really good game. A lot of fun. Alright. Brass Scorpion. I mean, Runelord Brass. Jeez. At least I think it was Runelord Brass. I want to say yes, because I do a wash over it. So we're going to do the Inquisitorial, not Inquisitorial icon on his belt. Then we'll also get the parts on his weapon here for a two-tone metal color. I think this will look real nice. Get this like mace ball on the end. Or actually, it's a, I think it's a morning star. I think a mace actually technically needs to be attached to a chain, and a morning star is attached to a stick. Or maybe I have that backwards. Maybe the mace is attached to a stick and a morning star is attached to a chain. Either way, this is neither a morning star or a mace. That much I do know. It's kind of like a spear or glaive. You had it backwards, sir. Okay. So the mace is on the stick. The morning star is on the chain. Right? That's the correct order? Alright. Looking good. Now let's make this look actually good. I'm gonna do like a little camo pattern on his pants, I think. Maybe like a light, maybe Elysian green, or Strachan green. No, maybe maybe like a brown. No, I think I like the green. We'll do Elysian because it's really yellowish. Just need a little bit of that. Just gonna do like little wavy lines on his pants. Maybe we'll throw a brown in there too. Just to make it a little bit more interesting. He's probably like former Imperial Guard. Maybe he's you know, kind of like a special Catachan stealth guy. Part of some elite kill team. Got pulled into the Inquisition to serve. But glaive or halberd? Halberd. Yes, it's a halberd. That's what it is. A Bill Beck Degizimi. Don't quote me on the spelling. I'll take your word for it. I will definitely take your word for it. Alright, so we got some camo in there. I think just like a little touch of a neutral color. Maybe some Rakarth. No, Karak stone. Yeah, just like a couple of dots of that on the camo. I think that'll really tie it together. I just need a little bit of this. I'm not going to do too much. I'm just going to come in here with a couple little dots. I don't do camo very often, so whenever I have an opportunity, I like to try to play around with it. It's fun. I like that. For his skin, since I want him to look really like tan, like he's, you know, been fighting in the jungle, I'm just gonna wash it with Rakarth Flesh Shade. Reichland Flesh Shade. Rakarth is a paint, not a shade. Reichland Flesh Shade. And we'll go from there. Shades are where it's at. I think as a beginner painter, when you start using shades, you just really level up everything you do. I'm also going to shade the Runelord Brass with this shade. Gives it that nice, like, rich brass color, and I really like it. It's kind of similar to Cryptic Armor Shade, but maybe not as intense. Always try to not leave a metallic unshaded. Usually always get better results when you shade metallics. I'm going to come around for a second pass on his face and skin, on his, yeah, especially down here on his chest. I want to make sure I get that really good. I think I missed the back of his head, so we'll get that. I definitely missed the back of his arms. It's getting carried away here. It can be a little heavy. We'll go back and lighten it up a little bit. There, he looks very tan now. He kind of looks like the action figure from Small Soldiers. If he had like a white flat top, said he's got like a metal dome, but you know, other than that, like the camo and the color, I think he kind of looks like him. That movie takes me back. Small Soldiers, wow, haven't seen that in like 20 years. Maybe longer. All right. While that dries, I'm gonna come in with this Elysian green. I'm gonna grab a better brush, not this junky one. I'm gonna do a couple highlights on his outer cloak here. Just because this is a nice color, that'll work well for it. Just going to pick out some detail on his cloak. Just really make it pop a little bit. Some of these folds here. Just do a nice thin... Ideally, a neat line. My hand doesn't slip again. There we go. A little bit of highlights makes a huge difference. Now using the zenithal here, we get this natural kind of gradient from light to dark with the contrast paint, which is really nice. I like that a lot. So if I wanted to go a little more hardcore, I could mix in a lighter color here to highlight where it's even lighter. Because if I come in here with the Elysian green, you can see it kind of doesn't really do much. Because that's pretty much what this color is. But I might leave that as is because I think that looks pretty good already. But yeah, I like that a lot. That looks nice. Alright, so the skin is about done, but I'm going to go back in and shade the metal real quick with... Where are you? Targor Rage Shade. Really a huge fan of this shade. I started using it recently. I saw Peachy use it on the painting phase. And I didn't know it existed. But it's a nice, like, dirty, reddish brown. Maybe a hint of, like, maroon or plum. But it's really good to grime up silver metal and give it, like, a warm tone. You can see there. It's like Basilicanum Gray contrast paint over metal. But a little bit more controlled. So I've been using that on these humans for some kind of like dirty metal, and or weathered metal, and it's looking really good. So we'll do that over the grenades, the knife. Also get the knee pads. And of course, his chrome dome. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This is what we got so far. I think we just need to do some detail work on his face and skin. Maybe his eyes and teeth. He's also got like a scar. Like a Chelsea smile going on, so we'll have to do something with that. I believe that's what it's called, a Chelsea smile, where they have like the Joker, where their mouth is cut open. Oof, awful. Alright, so while that wash dries, we're going to go in and do some work on the face. Pick out his eyes and teeth. I use Pallid Witch Flesh for that. It's a nice light off-white color. I'll also get some on there to mix in with the Cadian. Alright. So he's got some teeth. I'm going to try to get those teeth. Nice big smile. And then the eyes. Always a challenge, the eyes. Success! Alright. Now, I'm going to take a fine brush here. Small Citadel layer. I think that'll be fine. And I'll mix in some Cadian. Real thin. Add some water. just going to do a little bit of kind of dialing back that wash on some areas of his face. The ears, the nose. I'll leave the side of his face that's kind of turned towards the inside of his jacket alone. So we got some nice shade there, built into his pose. And I'm just going to grab some of these kind of more exposed areas here that are upward facing. Like his hands. Let's take a look at the back side. Yeah, so we got his forearm muscles. We'll just kind of pick those out a little bit. A little bit on the hands. And back of his head. There we go. It's looking pretty good. Got a nice tan look. I don't want to ruin that too much, but I'm going to take a little bit of pallid witch flesh and mix that in with Cadian. Just a little bit, and we're going to do a little bit of highlights. A couple key places. So, first of all, the nose. We'll do the little bit on the forehead. We'll pick out the chin. Get this cheekbone here. And the tip of the ear. As well as like his knuckles. Maybe the thumb a little bit. A little bit on the hand. Yeah, especially where he's got like his hand really tight. Kind of pick out each of those fingers. And we'll get a little bit here on the top. There. I don't want to do too much because he's very tan. And I don't want to lose that. As far as his scar, maybe a little bit of Bugman's Glow. Just a little bit. I'm going to really water this down too. I'm going to go in with a very fine brush. Essentially doing a recess shade. With the Bugmans. He's also got some other scars. I'm going to go ahead and do the same. Maybe highlight those scars with Bugman's Glow. Just to kind of show the scarred skin a bit. It's very subtle. Barely notice it. Maybe that's a sign I'm going too detailed here, so I'm going to mix in some more Cadian into that previous mixture. I'm going to dial back these brow highlights just a little bit. There. The camera's kind of blowing it out a little bit, but that's pretty good. All we got to do is dot the eyes. And I think this guy's good to go. Let's dot those eyes. Just need a brush that's got a really nice fine point. Doctor, we've done it. Come on. Focus, focus, focus. Here we go. We got the eyes dotted. He doesn't look googly-eyed. That is a success. I'm just going to do some highlights on the pouches with Mechanicus Standard Gray. And this guy will be for sure done. Okay. Highlight time on the pouches. Also get some highlights on his boots. Got some straps here. Just gonna do a couple of highlights here on these, like, maybe the toes of his boots. Just kind of bring out the shape a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Going for speed here. And on the gun holster also. Wristbands. And knife holster. Sheath. The sheath. Alright, I think this guy's done. What do we think? Does he look like some kind of former military elite pulled into service of the Inquisition? An inquisitorial henchman for sure. A lot of character. I love it. Alright, let's do the Eviscerator guy next. This guy here, he kind of looks like a Monty Python character. Okay, let's see here. Let's do... maybe... brown inner robes, black outer robes, and a red around his... yeah. I think I like that. I think I want to use Wildwood. I really like this brown. How did I do this brown? Yes, this was Wildwood with some highlights. So we're going to do that for the inner robes and like the thing going over his head. I like that. Our Wildwood needs some shaking. Let me mix that up on the mixer. Alright, wild wood. I am going to mix 1 part contrast medium to this. Wild wood's a very dark brown. I don't want to do too much. So just 1 part contrast medium, which, by the way, is a great medium to use if you want to dial back the punch of your contrast paints. It really unlocks the power of them, I think. Oh yeah, that's looking real nice. It's like Steel Legion drab. So contrast paints, especially with the Zenithal, chef's kiss. You get so much for 1 pass. Great for speed painting. Oops, I like to do that on like my kill teams, or like some of these kind of one-off units. Great way to kind of experiment with another painting style. Because usually you're kind of locked into something with a whole army. I was looking at, if anyone's ever heard of Trench Crusade, new game, there's a Kickstarter. The models for that look very interesting, and I think they look like they could be a lot of fun to paint. The game looks fun too, so another bonus. But yeah, I think I backed the Kickstarter of that for the core book and a team. Very interesting stuff. All right, outer jacket. We're gonna do Basilicanum Gray. Where are you? There you are. This really needs to get mixed up. As you can see, it's separated, so bear with me while that mixes on the mixer. So I think this guy I want to give the kind of pale skin. Really grim dark. Rakarth flesh, I think. Maybe a little Bugman's wash. Pretty much what I did with this guy. I like the skin tone on him. He looks kind of like pathetic. Yes, all of these are 3D prints. These are all from Station Forge. Is the creator. And they make a lot of really good proxies that capture the grim dark aesthetic, but also is kind of like their own take. And these I thought were perfect for agents, so I didn't have to buy the really cool, expensive Citadel models. So I could 3D print a whole Agents Boarding Patrol. I mean, this guy here, he's an Arbites proxy. He doesn't look as cool as the actual model, but, you know, for the price, I think it's very acceptable. I'm happy with it, so. Got a whole patrol printed up. Yeah, absolutely. They do look very cool. Station Forge in particular, you may remember a while back, I was painting, Death Corps of Krieg models, but they weren't actual Citadel or Forge World models. They were also designed by Station Forge. That's kind of where they got their popularity is they made a really good Krieg proxy. Slightly different design, you know, so they're not like stealing the design, but really similar vibes, and those are really good models. So I'm planning on building a whole army using those for the infantry at least, and then using, like, you know, the Citadel tanks, because you can't have different tanks, you know. They have to be Lehman Russ, you know. There's some things you can't proxy, in my opinion, but some things you definitely can. Especially if the proxy matches the aesthetic and the spirit of the original model. That's like the sweet spot. So this guy's looking pretty neutral here. A lot of grays, a lot of browns. I'm really hoping the red I put on the thing going around his shoulders here really kind of ties it together. We'll see. This may have been a mistake. Flesh Terror's red is the color. Hey, Perceptra. Welcome. Just painting some Warhammer. It's this color I use right out of the pot. I don't thin it down at all. It's very vibrant. Yeah, I think this may be the touch of color that this model needed. I think. Try to get down in here without making a mess. I might have to go back and touch this up. Oh, you know, not too bad. Not too bad. Alright, we'll let this dry a little bit, and then we'll come in and add some highlights. His boots I'm going to do in Black Templar. Got some of that on my palette, so I'll just go ahead and slap that on real quick. I think this guy will paint it pretty quickly because he's mostly robes. He doesn't have as much detail going on like our previous one. We'll do the armband black as well, and the holster for his las pistol. Can't really see his belt. I'm not going to worry about that. The Eviscerator chainsword. Oh, maybe that should be like a... maybe red? We'll do the handle black. Do this part here black. Yeah, maybe the guard, will have it be like a red guard for the Inquisition, you know? I think that would look pretty cool. I see a spot on his robe that I missed. Let's go back and get that. There we go. Alright. Yeah, I like that. Some more color. Although I don't know if I like that shade of red. I might... Oh, that might be okay. Maybe I'm just being too picky. Alright, let's get his skin painted up next. Rackarth flesh is going to be the base coat. Highlight the red, I'm sure it'll pop. Yeah, I think so. Little Evil Sun Scarlet. Alright, this is sufficiently mixed. Alright, taking some Rackarth flesh for the base coat on the skin. Real kind of pale skin on this guy. Yeah, it's really pale skin, almost sickly looking. Like he's hasn't seen sunlight in a long time, or ever. Maybe aboard a spaceship for most of his existence, or deep in a hive cluster. What a lovely setting. The Warhammer universe. Alright, come back in for a second coat on the face. Yeah, this guy doesn't look too well. Metal. You know, I don't like the red on the sword. I'm gonna dial it back with some Caribor Crimson Shade. Kind of like how I did the shotguns on my RBDs models. Kind of give it like that deeper red, almost maroon tint, and then I'll highlight it. Alright, so while that dries, we're going to come back to some metallic details. Runelord brass, I think, for the little hourglass he's got on his belt. Chain attached to it. We'll also get the little skull symbol on the holster for his last pistol. You know, let's make the handle of that gun red too. Just so everybody knows he's packing. Not to be trifled with. And then going back to the dudes that have to refuel the engines on the ships have a real hard go. Or one of the 1,000 psychers who's lucky enough to get chosen to fuel the Golden Throne for that day. Or even just being a telepath on a ship. It's not an easy life. Alright, we got the teeth on the chainsword. The air quotes eviscerator. Getting sloppy here. I gotta touch this up. There we go. Alright, and then we got the little like tube on his face. Gotta get with the iron breaker. And we got these little buttons going around his red cloak. That should be Runelord brass, I think. Actually, no. It should be a gold color. I think I did bright gold. Or maybe it was, no, rich gold. From Pro Acryl. Lovely metallics. I brought the Pro Acryl white. What do you think? Have you used it yet? Is it life-changing? It's pretty good white, but it is good. I use it. I use it now pretty much exclusively over White Scar. I still use Corax White because, you know, it's a little bit cooler, darker white. I don't want to go pure white. But yeah, Proco White's very nice, especially if you're doing like a dry brush for a slap chop. Sam's making fun of me. Oh, about the Pro Acryl? I've been using Fnatic Army Painter over Gorgon Hide to finish off my white. What's Gorgon Hide? It's like a off-white. That white is fine. Really, really light blue. Ah, okay. Okay, so rich gold as opposed to the poor gold. Oh yeah, much better. Nothing like gold and red. Love it. There we go. He looks more appropriate now to be in an Inquisitor goon squad. Alright, back to the Reichland Flesh Shade. The lovely Reichland Flesh Shade. Some people rave about Seraphim Sepia. Reichland Flesh Shade. I do like Seraphim Sepia, though. It's very nice. Gonna go over the Runelord Brass. I mean, just look what it does to Runelord Brass. Look at that. It's like a whole nother color. Incredible. Also go over the skin. Reichland over Rakarth Flesh. You get a very nice kind of like pale skin tone. With some, you know, some definition built up in there. The shade. It's very nice. There's hardly anything I have to do after this. Just like a little bit of skin highlights and he's good to go. Like, breathes life into his face and his skin. It's wonderful. I do like this color a lot. Alright, Targor Raid Shade. Just a little couple spots on the sword that needs it. I also have to get better about putting my paints back when I use them because otherwise my desk gets just full of them. Then I can't find them. Targor Raid Shade on the chain blades. The teeth. That's my go-to skin. Cheap shade. Cheap mode. Yes. I swear by the Crusader skin speed paint over a bone color with white dry brush. It sounds appropriate. I go to work. Oh, missed a spot in his hand. I spread some shade around there. Throw some shade. Yeah, good enough. All right. Let's do some highlights on the gray robes. I think. Dawnstone looks appropriate. A little bit of Dawnstone on my palette. Let's just do some highlights here on the robe. So we already have some started from the Zenithal and the speed paint, or the contrast paint. But I'm just gonna accentuate those highlights a little bit. And you can see the Dawnstone blends in perfectly, which is great. So then when I go around the rest of the model with the same color, it'll all tie together. Alright, so let's get down here on the robe. I got some folds down here. Let's grab. Little smooth line here. Just kind of picking out what the contrast paint's already doing for us. Just boosting its power a little bit with some targeted highlights. Real simple. My favorite gold recipe, Travis, you might find this interesting for gold. I do Retributor armor, but you could use rich gold from Pro Acryl. And then Reichland Flesh Shade over that. And then you take a 50-50 mix of Stormhost silver mixed with your gold and do a very light highlight or dry brush over that, and it looks wonderful. Get a very good gold. That's what I do on my Space Marines for their Aquilas, and the gold trim for my Ultramarines. I think that would look really sharp on Custodes. That is if you're going with gold Custodes. There we go. Some highlights on the gray. That looks good. Let's get some highlights on the inner robes. I see some orange ink over silver. I think I'm doing something more exotic for mine. Probably going to go gold trim, but the bulk silver or black. Ooh, black Custodes. That, you don't see that very much. I think that could be cool. Yeah. We're going to do some Carrick Stone highlights on the brown. Oh my, what have I done? I got red on the side of his hood. And this being contrast paint, I can't correct my mistake. Downside of contrast paint, ladies and gentlemen. to mix up something special here to correct that. So Steel Legion drab. Layer in some Steel Legion drab. And then I'm going to go back with the brown. I was on my current inspiration scheme in Discord after stream. Still have lots of ideas to go through. Yeah, I'm curious. That'd be cool. We'll go over this with the... what color is that? Wildwood. The Wildwood mixture. Just to kind of blend that in a little bit. It's okay. It's not perfect. We can get some Black Templar to darken that up. Oh yeah, that works. There we go. Black Templar. Just to kind of darken that up a little bit. There. That is acceptable. I'll use that. Alright, now where was I? I was gonna do some highlights with Karak Stone. On the robes. Inner robes. Maybe I'll do a two-pass. We'll do Steel Legion drab and then Karak Stone. Because this is a very dark brown. So we kind of gotta ease our way into it. So I'm gonna do some chunkier layering here with the Steel Legion drab. A little chunkier than I would like. I think I got a little carried away here, but that's okay. Come in with the Karak Stone finer highlight. There we go. I think I gotta blend that in a little bit. It's actually I think maybe Corvus yeah, Corvus Black mixed in with there. I just gotta dial this brown back a little bit. Just gonna mix in some Corvus Black with Steel Legion drab. Get a nice dark, dirty brown. Gotta blend that in with that darker patch there. Alright, that's helping a little bit. I suppose something I could also do too is just go over it with the Wildwood wash / contrast paint and just kind of blend it back down. Very good. I better quit while I'm ahead. Alright. Let's get the highlights on his hood. Alright, and then we'll get his eyes and do the chainsword. We're going to use pallid witch flesh for the eyes. Abaddon black, the pupil. I've ran out of my Black Templar contrast on my palette, so we're just going back to Abaddon. Good old-fashioned black. Get it nice and thin on the brush, and we're just going to do a little dot. And a little dot. That's acceptable. And then we're going to do some highlights. So we have Rakarth Flesh is the skin color. We're going to mix in some Pallid Witch Flesh to that. We're just going to come in here and do a couple highlights on the face. Okay, those are very bright. Style it back. With the Rakarth Flesh. It's fine. It's not my best work. We'll highlight the red. And I think this guy will be done. So for the red highlight, I'm using Evil Sun Scarlet because it is very bright and vibrant and is a great color to highlight red. Especially a shaded red, like I did here. So we'll start on his I don't know what you call it. It's not like a scarf. It's like a it's like a robe, but it's like just over your head or your shoulders. It's like a shawl maybe. I have a hard time finding words or the things I'm painting. I'm trying to describe what I'm painting. Surprisingly, you have to have a big vocabulary. There we go. I love that. Wow, Evil Sun Scarlet over that dark red. I'll just do a line up here on the side of the Eviscerator. And on the front side as well. Catching that edge. And I'll come along the blade side too. Nice clean highlight. All right. I think this guy's done. Call him done. That leaves just one more henchman to paint. Which is this guy who's got a plasma pistol. I kit bashed. Yeah, the red looks good. Thank you. Yeah, I like the red. This red combo looks really nice. It's all with the priming step, the zenithal. All right, this guy. We'll give him red underrobes. Red hood. I don't know. Red shirt. Brown pants. Red tends to work with dark colors. He's too happy to have some blue in there somewhere. Well, like this guy has got like a red undershirt, so I kind of want him to match because he's my other plasma guy. So I could do the brown pants, red undershirt, and the black gray cloak with some gold in there. Yeah, I think we'll go that way. Yeah, I had a silly kit bash here, trying to get... I needed another plasma gun, so I had to attach one to a resin hand. So he's got like a mechanical Terminator hand. This is like a Space Marine plasma gun. But, it'll do. But you know what? We'll give this guy a dark blue outer coat. Or maybe a dark blue around his scarf thing. Yeah, we'll do that. Use Leviathan blue for that. Very dark. He's very happy pose. I agree. There you go, David. There's your blue. I'll also give him blue pants. Maybe we'll give him a red outer coat too. I just really like that red. Hopefully the red and the blue won't be too much. If I can find the red paint. I'll give him a black hood though. Okay, flesh tear is red. Yeah, I think that works. They're dark. Yeah, this is a very nice pose. It's very I like this pose too. He's like blasting and screaming. Ah! Psh! Shooting the gun. I could do some like OSL on his face maybe, but I don't want to ruin it. You have to commit when you do OSL. It's too easy to mess up. Yeah, he's so happy, just ready to slay some heretics. He's got like a cybernetic hand. He's got like this thing over his face. Maybe I'll give him the sickly skin tone that I gave my servitor. That could be interesting. All these models have such like character in them. Really fun. Kind of create your own backstories as you're painting them. Yeah, I think he needs a red hood. I like it. Skin. My wet palette is like not staying wet. Because I got a dehumidifier running in my basement here. Right. Just thinking here. Skin. Yeah, record flesh. What are those goggles? I'm not really sure, actually. Maybe we'll give him cybernetic eyes. Maybe it won't matter. Gleefully, Clem tiptoed into the heretic's compound, delighted that he had not been spotted by the sentry. He charged his plasma pistol. Set it to overload. Completely unnecessary. But he did anyways. If that's his name, then Clem. I'll try to remember that. Okay. This is like a some kind of brown leather boot attaching his cybernetic hand. That's just some shoddy green stuff work on my part. Alright, Mephiston red on the plasma gun. I'm gonna give it a red casing. I think that would be cool. So anyways, he started blasting. Yeah, I like red casing. It's very classic 40K. Go get the casing nice and red. Clem may have some issues having grown up an orphan in the inquisitorial foster system. recruited at the age of 10 to serve his master, Igor Eisenstein. We'll give him a black chainsword. Can't have this guy too colorful now. The other details like these wristbands. Oh no, is my Reaper miniature brush losing its tip? Might have to get a new one. Black belt. Black pouches. Pouch. Only one pouch. Black boots. Yep, I think it's time for a new Reaper miniature brush. I really like it. Silver on the gun. Ironbreaker. Here's what we got so far. It's coming now, coming along. The black yellow hazard stripes could pop on the chainsword. Ooh, yeah, yeah, it could. You know what? I like it. Let's do it. Black yellow hazard stripes. Speaking is difficult for me tonight for some reason. Let's get some silver on the gun, on his robotic hand. Probably should have painted the silver first for the inside out technique or approach. But we are taking Clem to the finish line tonight. He doesn't have a whole lot left. The back piece of this gun. Cybernetic hand. Also, grenade. Not too shabby. Look at the gas mask on his face. You know, I think he is wearing a full-on mask, so I'm gonna go ahead and color that silver too. And I'll do something on that later. Get the teeth on the sword. Do the handle silver. I'll shade that. I see I need another coat on the skin. I'm gonna quickly do that. Rakarth flesh on the skin here. Looking good. I got some gold. He's kind of got like a gold chain. Well, that's rope. He's got a rope around his neck. I guess I'll make it rope then. This guy's crazy. We'll give him glowing orange eyes. How's that sound? Okay. Let me get that rope. We'll paint that orange fang brown. No, actually... Steel Legion drab. He's got this like rope weaved through his clothing here. So we can throw a zip line and climb, scale a wall or something. And hang himself. Apparently. There we go. Rope is painted. I'll slap some shades on here. Actually, let me get that hazard stripe going real quick. There's a Boondock Saints joke in there somewhere. Most definitely. And, you know, this yellow on the hazard stripe is gonna go nicely with the blue. Sometimes I struggle with hazard stripes. the other side real quick. The side that you don't really see. The sword is kind of there drawing attention. I thought the pose would bring the eye there into the blue. Ah, yeah. Hazard stripes, they turned out okay. What I can do is take the silver, kind of chip away at the sword a little bit, dirty it up. To distract from my poor hazard striping. Yeah, I want to get better at freehanding. Gonna set up for some cool effect paint. But first, I gotta do the skin. I'm gonna use Poxwalker shade. That's what I did on my servitor here. Poor guy. Man, it's really separated. Gotta give this a good shake. Alright, so I'm going to take Poxwalker Shade over Rakarth Flesh. And it's going to give us this kind of sickly green look. I'll go back and dial it back a hair once it dries. But it's a fun shade. I've wanted to use it for a long time. Okay, so back to metal. We're gonna do the Targor Raid shade once again on our silver metallics. For a quick, easy weather. Something a little different than your typical Nuln oil. I'll do that on his hand. I will do Nuln oil on the gun though, I think. And we'll do Targor on his face here. And Targor on the sword. You know what? I'm just going to do Targor on the gun too. All around, casing and all. Alright, now I need the shade to dry so I can do some effects. Well, I guess we'll do that last. So we'll highlight the robes and such next. So I got the Evil Sun Scarlet already out. So let's go ahead and start with that. Some highlights there on the sleeves to clean up my shoddy paintwork going outside the lines. The tip on this Army Painter brush isn't as fine as I would like. Unfortunately, I think my good Reaper miniature brush, which I like to use for some of this highlight work, is on its last legs, and I need to get a new one because it's no longer has the tip that it once had. Just a little highlight on the gun here. Nothing too crazy. There's a lot going on there already. Alright, the blue we're gonna highlight with a latex blue. I'll try the Reaper miniature brush, see if I can get a good tip on it. We'll see. Nice vibrant blue highlights. Just gonna do something simple on these blue highlights. I like that. That's good. Alright. Let me fix his skin. So after I did the Poxwalker, I'm just gonna come back in with the Wreck Arth Flesh. And just kind of bring back that skin tone a little bit. Leaving that greenish shade in the recesses. There. Not bad. I like this model. This model has a story. Okay, so we got the bold titanium white, Proacryl white, the best white ever made. And we're gonna do some, pick out the details on the plasma coils, as well as his eyes. Gonna give him glowing orange eyes. I think that'd be fun. And we got the white on the plasma coils. I'll just keep the plasma coils blue, though. I'm not gonna do the, like this guy, he's clearly shooting, right? So I did the plasma in there, too. But, I'm just gonna have just his coils painted blue. Because he's kind of like, he's primed, ready to shoot, but he's not in the act of shooting, so he's clearly running. Alright, so then the last thing I'm going to do is the special effects. We'll start with the orange eyes while we let the coils dry. So I'm using the Radiation Glow War Paint Fanatic Effect paint. This paint is a lot of fun. I love it. It's great. I wish they had a glowing red. They have the blue, they have the green, they have the orange, but they don't have like a red. Or if they do have a red, I haven't seen it in the store. But you gotta give it a good shake. I'll shake the plasma too. Alright. Glowing orange eyes. Heh. This is yellow, no red. Okay. Actually, you know what works really well for yellow? This over white. Cansador yellow over pure white. Looks like a yellow light. Works really well. Alright, so the, gotta shake up this warp coil glow a little bit more. And this guy's gonna be done. And I'll have to figure out what I'm painting next week. Maybe some Necrons, maybe some Space Marines. Only time will tell. And there's the plasma glow coils. Beautiful. They've done a good job, Army Painter. Alright, this is Clem, the happy cyborg, reckless fella with his plasma pistol, serving alongside Igor Eisenstein, Inquisitor. And this other happy bunch of losers. So thanks everybody for joining me tonight. Really happy we got the band all painted up here. A lot of good stuff. There's the team. All ready to go hunt some Xenos. Very cohesive looking unit. Yeah, I think so. I mean, they all have their own like personal flair and color, but I tried to keep some themes going through there. Mainly like the red and black for sure. The red's definitely the one thing that's tying them all together. Except for this guy. Now that I look at it, he doesn't have one, but it's fine. But yeah, I think they look unique yet as one. So, looks great. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with these guys. They have a lot of character. You know, the rest of my boarding patrol, it's just these guys. You know, they all look like this. So I thought I'd invest most of my time in this unit here because they have the most, you know, interesting look to the models and the most character to them. Yeah, so stay tuned. We'll be doing a narrative series with Inquisitors and boarding actions. So it'll be a lot of fun. So stay tuned for that. I got to figure out what I'm painting next week. But I will be painting something next week, so stay tuned for that as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And I'll catch you all next week. Staying tuned. All right. Have a good evening, everybody. Bye.